It's your daily dose of Donna. Welcome to the show. Today is Wednesday, March 18th. It is midweek. We are humping our way through the week. I hope you guys are all doing well. Hope everyone had a beautiful evening watching the USA lose in the World Baseball Classics. That's what was happening in my home, at least. Did I watch a second of it? No. I was catching up on Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and I've got thoughts. In fact, a lot of today's episode is going to be surrounding this wild story of Taylor Frankie Paul and some updates around it. And we'll get into all of that. Plus, we have a Blake Lively update from Bang Bang Paul Feig. I don't know if you guys have seen that, but that is an interesting one. Sheriff Nanos they're trying to recall Sheriff Nanos. And Meghan Markle, again, is in the shitter with Netflix. I mean, you guys, you can't get enough. Cannot get enough. All of that and more on today's Daily Dose of Donna. Thank you all for being here, my friends. I appreciate you. How is everyone doing today? If you are here, why don't you go ahead and give me a little toot-toot, subscribe and like. Appreciate that. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, because there's thousands of you guys, or on Spotify, again, thousands of you guys, do me a favor. Hit up that review and that rating. It definitely helps. It helps me. It helps the show. It helps my heart. It helps my heart. You know, I've been doing the show now for 3 years. 3 years, 2 months, and 12 days. But who's counting? I just did. That's the only math I can ever do. And it's been such a ride. It's been such a roller coaster ride because there's some really, really fun things about it. And then there's some really challenging things about it. And some days you're feeling really good about it. And then some days you're feeling really crappy about it. And yesterday I was having a little bit of a crappy day. I really was. I truly was feeling down and depressed about not depressed, depressed is a big word, but feeling frustrated with certain things in career-wise. So what did I do? I called Zach. Peter in the morning and I was like, friend, I need your advice. And he's a good pick-me-upper. We actually always tend to be on opposite sides. Like if he's feeling down about something, I'm feeling fine and vice versa. So it's nice to have a friend like that you can kind of just go to. But part of the reason I was frustrated is because of freaking Apple Podcasts reviews. It's so yucky. Because I think what happens with the reviews and just the way the internet works is people really don't tell people or go out of their way to leave positive reviews unless they're getting some sort of they're getting some sort of incentive too, right? Like if you go into a restaurant, they say you'll get 10% off your order if you leave a Yelp review. Well, most people that leave reviews and go out of their way, it's that they don't like you. They want you to know that. So it's definitely a little bit of a frustrating place to be because even though I know so many people love the show and love, whatever, most people just watch and enjoy it. So anyway, if you're on Apple Podcasts or if you're on Spotify, please leave a positive comment. That really helps in a 5-star review. And also if you're here, leave me a comment and let me know what you like about the show. Do something nice for someone. They call it a mitzvah. Do something nice for someone else. And I can tell you guys what I feel about you. Okay? That's what I'll do. I'm going to spend this entire hour just talking about what I feel about my dosers. Yesterday was a fun episode. Of course, I had Reality Steve on the show to talk all about the Taylor Frankie Paul allegations and everything. And then today we have more of that, not with Reality Steve, with just me. And we're going to talk about everything. So let's get into the main story, the main event, and that is Taylor Frankie Paul. And I'm just going to give you guys a heads up. I actually just watched all of the episodes of this season of Secret Lives. it took me a little bit to like finally get into it. The first few episodes are so hard to watch. They're so boring. The last couple episodes are really good. I will say this, like, I I don't understand how Taylor Frankie Paul can be a bachelorette. Not just because of what happened in this episode or in the season, from way before. This was an awful choice on ABC's part. Awful. And I said this yesterday, but I understand there's a little bit of a crossover business-wise, right? Like, they can't just go ahead if they wanna pick a reality star. Obviously, they can't take anyone off Netflix, They can't do that, right? They can't take anyone off Amazon Prime. Is there even reality shows on Amazon Prime? And they also can't take anyone off Peacock, and that's NBC and Bravo. It's like a very, it doesn't work business-wise. You have to bring on someone if you want to bring on a TV star who's in your network already. And I guarantee someone left a comment yesterday on Facebook and said, "Why wouldn't they go after someone like Sierra from Summer House?" And by the way, you guys, I loved Sierra this season. I'm loving Sierra this season, and it's weird because in the past, I normally don't like Sierra. Actually, we'll jump into a little Summer House towards the end of the show, so make sure. But I just don't understand why they didn't go for someone like that just had more of a clean record. And not when I say record, I don't even mean arrest record. I mean like just personality record. What happens in this last season of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives is pure, it's tailored to a T. Because what we see on her TikTok is 30 seconds, 10 seconds, a little dance, a little skit, a little smile, a little da da da. What you really see, in this episode is her speaking to her mom. In episode 6 or 7, whatever the last one is of the season, you see Taylor Frankie Paul speaking to her mom about her toxic relationship with her baby daddy, Dakota. And when I tell you, it is jaw dropping. She is disgusting to her mother. And I don't think her mom is perfect. Like, no mom is perfect, by the way. If there was a reality show that would be following me and my family, I'm sure people would find a lot of judgment about my mom too. But on camera to speak to your mother the way that she did, it's so gross. Like, the whole thing is just really bad. And the mom is crying to her saying, "It's not that I don't want you to have fun. It's not that I don't want you to have sex. It's that I don't want you to continue to be in this toxic relationship so that you're constantly hurt and upset." And what mom wouldn't feel the same way for their own daughter or son? And instead of her hearing that and saying, "I know you love me. I know." She's like, "Well, the way you talk to me is just, that's why I don't tell you anything." Like, Taylor wants to be surrounded by yes people who constantly just say like, "It's okay that you're going back to this loser all the time. It's okay. It's okay." Every single person in their lives knows it's a bad idea. This whole entire season towards the end, they're in Los Angeles. And this is the night that Dakota and Taylor, I've never seen anything like it. Like, okay. Obviously, spoiler alert, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Okay, this is the second to last episode. They come out to LA. Remember, I was at the Dancing with the Stars opening night and I was filming them down there. So they come out to Los Angeles. They all stay in this massive Airbnb. It's all the moms and all the dads. Dad talk is so annoying, by the way. And this is like a little side note, but Jesse's husband is so hard to look at. Jordan, like, what is going on over there? Secondly, they stay in this huge Airbnb, and for whatever the F reason, and I'm assuming this is a production reason, Dakota comes out. Not because he needs to take care of the kids like the other dads, just because he's there to trigger Taylor. I mean, there's no other reason. Now, meanwhile, Taylor is here with you know, with a guy that is I mean, Dakota does something to her. I mean, I think it's an addiction. I don't know. In case you guys are wondering, I'm not a therapist. I think it's an addiction of some sort, but it is absolutely disgusting. Hold on one second. I just have to text Lance something. He's here. Lance is home, but we also have like a exterminator situation. This is the problem with working at home. Anyway, back to the show. So, what the issue is that I find Dakota is this awful addiction, but the worst part about it is that she doesn't want to be around him and like love on him. She wants to trigger him. Both of them are addicted to upsetting each other and making each other jealous. This is literally what they thrive on it. Now, she invites Harry Jowsey over to the show, or over to the house, which by the way, Harry Jowsey is like it's like a cameo. He's doing a cameo on the show. He's not there because he's actually trying to date Taylor Frankie Paul. He's there for a Hulu crossover cameo. So he comes over, and that's part of the reason why the show is just annoying, because they're talking about Vanderpump Villa, and Harry's like, "Oh, I was about to do that." Not go to Vanderpump Villa. You were about to say yes to a guest star on Vanderpump Villa to get paid to go to Vanderpump Villa. Anyway, she brings Harry Jowsey, the biggest F boy ever, over to her house to make Dakota jealous. And she straight up says it. And what do you think happens, you guys? That night, they end up having sex, Dakota and Taylor, after they spent the entire night triggering each other. And then the next day, but seeing that Dakota and Taylor have that one last conversation. I don't think Dakota's perfect, but I absolutely think Taylor is 95% of the problem here. I really do. Because she's sitting there and she's crying to him and she's talking to him. And then uh, he says like, I just, don't know if this is right. I love you and I care about you. And she's like, would you love me if I went and and like starts fights over and over. It's such a goddamn cycle, and she needs it. Someone said, is this like a toxic kink that you're into? You're into fighting? Yeah. I truly believe she wants to fight with this guy so that sex is better. And I don't understand this kind of weird thing, but this is their relationship. She wants to F him after they fight. If you are in a relationship right now where you want to F after you fight, I would say it's probably not healthy. The fact that she says, and someone says, don't blame the woman. I'm not blaming the woman. I'm blaming both of them. They are both disgustingly horrible human beings to each other. And they literally want the worst for each other. That's it. They want the worst for each other. But in this case, Taylor Frankie Paul is being accused of domestic violence. And if you are a woman being accused of domestic violence, I am not going to give you a free pass. And there's a lot of people out there that'll give her grace. Would you give if you found out that I choked Lance, would you give me grace? Honestly, if you found out that I choked my husband in front of my kids, would you say on Reddit, would you go to Reddit and say, give Donna grace? No, you guys would attack me. You would attack me. You would be mad at me. You would be disgusted with me. You would talk shit about me. Like I would be the bane of your existence. Like you would attack. So for whatever reason, ABC's turning a blind eye to this. And I get it. It's just accusations, but a lot of people have been fired for accusations, right? Look at David Del Rio. We were just talking about him on Matlock on CBS, got fired for accusations. So I understand this is a massive money issue that they're not going to pull the Bachelorette, but at the same time, justice for Lance. Poor Lance is a victim and he hasn't even done anything. I haven't done anything, but he's a victim. You guys would always choose Lance's side over me. I know you. I know where your heart lies. But anyway, so I just think that Dakota is definitely not helping the situation because he allows her back in every time and he brings her back in. He pulls her back in. But it's all bad. It's all bad. Enrique says, Donna, this just pissed me off. Why is Disney taking this? Like, oh yeah, whatever. A lot of men get fired online for rumors, not even accusations, rumors. That's exactly what I'm saying. So the issue here is true or not true. It's enough for you to say, hold up. Because A, we all know that she goes back to Dakota after The Bachelor. Hello. And B, if she actually did put her hands on him and choked him, and apparently there's video that he's showing his friends. And why is Secret Lives of Mormon Wives able to go on pause, but The Bachelorette can't hold. I mean, we didn't get to see Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip because of a lawsuit. So all of this is a little bit tricky. But let's get into what they've actually been saying about it. So on Good Morning America today, let me pull up her little clip. She was interviewed and oh, there's like so much new stuff every 5 seconds. But she was interviewed on the show, and here is a little clip of it. Hold on. Let me find it. Here we go. This is coming from Bravo, 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 Breeze Instagram reel.
Headlines about the alleged domestic violence incident with your ex-boyfriend. What do you want to share with us about this?
Honestly, it's been a heavy time to see the headlines, especially during this time of The Bachelorette being released, and it's supposed to be a really exciting time. I'm a person that will always speak my truth, and that's what I'm known for. And so when the time is right, I will be. But right now, just trying to be in the present moment and focus on this. But the thing is my kids do come first. Mm-hmm. My kids come first. And so it's been like just a back and forth process, trying to be here in the present moment, worrying about, home and headlines. It's been stressful, to be honest.
We did reach out to.
She continues to kind of give a little bit of nothing. It's a very PR answer. Do you understand the amount of executives that are standing there, freaking the F out? She's on Good Morning America, which is a huge part of that kind of press circuit that you do for ABC. I know the same for Dancing with the Stars. Any of the Bachelors, they all do it, right? They go to Good Morning America. They go to Live with Regis. It's always Regis. It will never not be Regis. Live with Mark and Kelly and Mark, whatever. Then she's going to go to, probably the plan was to go to is Jimmy Kimmel ABC? I'm pretty sure Jimmy Kimmel's ABC, right? Probably go to Jimmy Kimmel and this and this and that. It's a very PR answer, but I had to pause after she says, my kids come first. When you say your kids come first, and this is my soapbox. You know how Zach gets activated? This is my Donna something. Think of it. When you say your kids come first, and then this happens for years, remember, this is not a one-time thing. This has happened over and over and over and over. You're lying. Because what you're really putting first is not, oh, I want a healthy relationship for my kid's dad and my kid. That is not including you. What you're doing by continuing to spend your time around a very, very toxic person for you, whether or not Dakota's toxic for everyone is to be seen. We'll see another time. But we know Dakota is toxic for Taylor. And if you're continuing to spend time with him by choice, this at this point is 1000% you not putting your kids first. Putting your kids first means not sharing your personal sexual swinger experience and your divorce on TikTok. I'm just being honest. That's not putting your kids first. And I understand this is how she makes her money. And I understand that she's made so much money from being honest and sharing her life online and the swinging and this and that, everything that she started with. She's making it all to eventually, hopefully, give her kids a great life. But that's not putting your kids first. Because then should I go on TikTok and start sharing some sexual history or some really bad stuff about my life or whatever? Is that putting my kids first just to make a buck? Putting your kids first means going to therapy and getting the help you need so that you don't continue to find yourself in the headlines as the girl that can't get over Dakota. I mean, it's actually so silly that they would even make her say that. What she could have said, in my opinion, is, oh yeah, only Trent says only in Patreon. Okay, yeah, that's where I give you guys all my sexual stuff. What she should have said was, I want my kids' health and safety to be primarily like my priority right now. And so I'm doing everything I can at this point to help them through this, all the headlines. Because her young kids, obviously, Ever with Dakota is like, what, 2, 3 maybe? But the other ones are what, 6, 7, 9? I don't even know at this point. 8, 6? I really don't know. They're getting to the age where they're going to very clearly be able to see any of this stuff online. That's protecting your kids, is not maybe doing The Bachelorette when you're still in love with a man. So it all feels like too much, too little, too late, all of that. I also really am a big believer of being able to read people's energy, not like a energy healer, but because I used to be in casting, my job was constantly to read people. That's literally what it's called when you're auditioning. And so I always find this need to kind of, I don't know if it's more body language or it's just your personality and kind of, are you authentic? Are you genuine? Are you telling the truth? And I don't think any of that is truthful. I think she's completely shitting her pants right now on all of these interviews, because right now she's freaking out about what this means for her future paycheck. And right now she's devastated because she still loves Dakota. Hand to God, I guarantee you she still loves Dakota, because this is what she thrives on. She thrives on this drama. And even though she can say to her, say in an interview like, this is a heavy time and I'm really not feeling good and I'm really sad and I really wish I could just enjoy this moment. What is this moment? Most people go on The Bachelor, Bachelorette, and they go on all these press tours because they're so excited, because at the end they found love and they can't wait for this to air so they can walk around in public holding the hands of their love. I mean, that's what I'm assuming you'd be so excited. She's literally sitting there and panicking for 2 reasons: because people are figuring her out and she could lose everything, and also because Dakota is throwing her under the bus and she's still in love with him. Did I tell you guys the story about me in 7th grade? I tell you, this is a little bit of a personal story, and I think I have shared it one time or 2. But in 7th grade, I had an experience with a boy that really truly taught me what this means to love an abuser. His name was Brad. He was so, so, so cute. He was like new. He was like the bad boy, but not really, because I went to school in the Beverly Hills School District, but he was kind of like a permitted kid like I was. And I had the biggest crush on him ever. But so did everyone else. And Brad and I would talk in class, and I think I used to talk to him about other girls because it like got me closer to him. So I told him that like someone had a crush on him, and then he told me that he had a crush on another girl. So I went to that girl and I said to her, Brad has a crush on you. Well, he found out that I said it. And the only reason I was getting involved is because I liked Brad, but I just wanted to be close with him. So one day after class, and I swear this is like out of a Lifetime movie, no one was in the hallway. Just me and my best friend, Tracy, okay? We're in the hallway, and it was after 7th grade, English, Mrs. Kibo, and we're standing in the hallway in front of the lockers. No one else is there except the 3 of us. And Brad is so mad at me that he takes me and physically grabs my arms and pushes me against the locker and grabs my neck like this and pushes it against me. And he's like, and I don't even remember what he said, because I think I didn't really black out, but I felt like I blacked out. And he yelled at me and called me names and just physically and verbally like yelled at me, screamed at me. And Tracy, my best friend, ran off because she said she needed to go find someone to help. She was scared of him. Like, he was like a taller, bigger dude. And he was screaming at me and whatever, and then left me there and left. And I bawled and bawled because I liked him and I wanted him to like me. And it didn't stop. That didn't make me not like him. It made me even more sad because I wanted him to like me. And I'm telling you, there is a fucked up situation there with women that get attacked, abused, or yelled at maybe by men, and they are devastated because they want them to love them. Like, I wasn't mad at him. I wasn't scared. I was sad. It was such an effed up situation, actually. And now my son's in 7th grade. I can't even imagine him going through an experience like that. I felt so old at that time. And Brad and I ended up dating. That's the effed up part now that I think about it. In 8th grade, Brad and I were obsessed with each other. I finally got the guy that beat me. Isn't that actually just like a horrible story? And I'm so grateful that I'm in a marriage with a man that has never once laid his hands on me. And he's probably wanted to because I could be annoying. Okay. But thank God this was not like a habit of mine. I've never been in an abusive relationship, but I loved Brad. I loved him. Where the fuck is Brad now? We got to find Brad. On Patreon. On Patreon, we're going to do a Brad situation. PJ says, yeah, it's called dad issues and you don't know how to like nice guys. Also me, we can only learn from this. And it's so true. I mean, you know me and my dad issues. I had crazy dad issues. Okay. So I think that she's honestly devastated because she knows that Dakota is releasing all this information. She knows Dakota is the reason for her demise. And whether or not he's doing that because he's a dick or because he's just telling his truth, it doesn't matter. I think Taylor is genuinely devastated. And I actually would be worried if I were in Taylor's inner circle after seeing this last round. I would be worried that at one point this could turn into something that could be like a life-ending situation. And I'm not trying to be, dramatic. I mean, Taylor does not seem mentally and emotionally stable. I truly believe she needs to go to a treatment center and go and get some serious work, whether that's like the not MDMT. What's it called when they do the eye movements, rapid eye movements? What is that called? EMDR. She needs EMDR. She needs to go away for 6 months. She needs a Raquel Levis situation. She needs to go and be away from her kids and away from the cameras and away from Dakota. And she needs to heal. And putting her on The Bachelorette was a severely bad choice by ABC. And they could have pulled out at this point. They had the information that Hulu has. They know what Hulu was filming during these last episodes. And they chose to continue the show and put her on. And they could have pulled it. I mean, would it be horrible for them ratings-wise? Yeah. But that means they didn't have her best interest in heart at that point, in my opinion. Pretty crazy. EMDR does work. My best friend is a therapist and she's told me crazy stories. And actually she's tried it on me one time, but you have to do it over and over and over. But I've heard great things about EMDR with anxiety, with depression, with all kinds of things, and with trauma. Now, I'm really glad that Erica's asking about Nick Viall because I posted it yesterday on my stories. I think this is actually a really, really great point and something we should talk about because none of this would happen if not for Nick. So let's talk about it. This was Nick a few months ago. September 11th, I believe, was the day it was released. And this is him talking.
On the road, and then someone called me.
There we go.
See,
People, you're hater.
Hold on.
Hot. Okay.
everyone, it just rolls off the tongue.
At least he does love those things. Leave me for someone who is
It's a podcast. Funny.
for sure.
That's what it was.
Hold on.
Inspiring.
Also, Susie Evans returns the Taylor Frankie Paul is your next bachelorette. You are welcome, Bachelor Nation. You're welcome, ABC.
People, your haters are trying to say that you have an inside source, and
My
that's the only reason that you got it right.
What do you mean? It was literally my idea 3 months ago. I gave him the idea.
He
Thanks,
is the
Nick.
source.
I
He's
am-
the source. Yeah.
I am the source.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I am.
The call is
It's more
coming
like
from inside the house. people.
ABC has an inside source. It's called Nick Viall.
Literally.
Yeah.
Do you not see his comment? They asked
Right.
Nick.
No,
They
yeah, you're
literally
right.
are
You're
watching
right.
the
They had the
Viall.
idea on their own, and then someone called me up just to be like, just so you know, 3 months ago, by the way.
You should say this.
Like, I'm pretty sure Frankie Paul was like in the midst of filming season 3 months ago, and The Bachelorette was not
Scrap?
on her radar.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bachelorette
Shelved.
was literally canceled. They were like, we're not doing this again. Nick was like, this will save the franchise.
Right.
If you guys want to do it, you should.
You should.
And he's 100% right, because I'm like even seeing the comments going around about it. Everyone's like, I haven't watched it in I don't know how long, and this will get me to watch.
It's lit.
Maybe I know a little bit about this world. I don't know.
Producing,
maybe.
creating.
You know,
It's going to be great.
it's going to be fantastic. I'm glad the people who make these decisions finally
Made a good one.
made a good one.
Yeah.
Hopefully, don't fuck it up. There is a new showrunner.
Hopefully, don't fuck it up. Famous last words. Let's see what Nick Viall says about it now. Dakota has spoken out as well after Taylor speaking out, and this is what he has to say. He spoke to Entertainment Weekly, and I don't know if it was actually Dakota or his people, but he says, it says, as conflicting reports continue to surface regarding this alleged domestic violence incident between Taylor, Frankie Paul, and Dakota, a representative for Dakota is speaking out. He says his number one priority here is protecting their 2-year-old son, Ever. The rep tells Entertainment Weekly, denying the implication that Mortensen is the reason the situation has been made public. So they're saying that he has nothing to do with it. What do you guys think? He knew there was a possibility it could come out, but he was not going to be the one to proactively do that because he has always wanted a decent relationship with Taylor. My ass. It's been really hard to achieve that, but he wants to co-parent well. His rep claims he was hoping the drama would de-escalate. He was just hoping that if he said nothing, as he usually does, it would go away. He's never done any kind of sit-down interview about his side. He just kind of lets it all happen to him. And I think he realizes with the severity of everything now that he just can't do that. And as you guys know, the news broke on Monday. And actually, they're not really confirming who released the information. But come on, when police are involved, it's public at that point, right? Like if I called the police, that's now public record. So TMZ probably found out about this, but it says that the Draper City Police Department has opted not to comment on the details, but it did confirm that officers made both contact with both parties on February 24th and 25th. She said on Tuesday, I actually took action about a few weeks ago. I'm just doing third-party everything, pickup, drop-offs, communication, no contact right now for me. I think that's the best case, honestly, because clearly it's just not to a point of us getting along. So I wanted to take the best action I could. I didn't want to bring anything to the public eye, making it a bigger deal for the sake of my son, or not about you, right? And just about everything to come out, but that wasn't the plan for Dakota. She's blaming him, obviously, and he's saying it has nothing to do with me. And yeah, I guess we're going to see what happens. At this point, I think it will still get amazing ratings. The show will still get amazing ratings, Bachelorette. I'll probably be watching it, which is the saddest part. But that's my job. What is your reason? That's my job. You know, articles are coming out about the Bachelor suitors that were on the show with her, and they're saying that's not the Taylor we know. Because, and I say this really not to try to attack Taylor in any way. I really don't. I really believe Taylor struggles, and I'm not a doctor, but if I were to make a guess about what Taylor struggles with, it's some sort of ingrained, deep, like insecurities, etc., probably with a little bit of bipolar, because you can see her. And like I said, this is all allegedly speculation. Okay. I'm not her doctor. I have no idea, but I I do have bipolar people in my life. I just think that there's a lot of really, really big, massive swings from angry, sad, and happy. And it's not stable. There's no stability there. It really reminds me of teen mom energy. Whereas when you have the other Secret Lives of Mormon Wives girls, let's take Macy, for example. Macy is on the show. She's just had a baby. She wrote a book. She's going through some tough times, like struggling emotionally. She's had a crazy past, and she's getting maybe depressed at moments, crying at moments, sad at moments. But there's absolutely no like roller coaster situations. Trent says, I see more of a mood disorder than bipolar. Or so Milestone says, but borderline personality disorder. I don't know. I mean, it's got to be like a spectrum of something. But she should not be allowed to go back on any of these shows. Now they're saying they're giving her psych evaluations. Why didn't they get psych evaluations prior to The Bachelorette? Why are you putting a star of a dating show and not getting psych evaluations when you know that she has a past? Like, none of this makes sense. Hollywood is so effed up what you do. And I say this as someone that like needs Hollywood for my husband to survive. You know, my husband works on the Bachelor franchise. So like the crew is not responsible for casting in any way. So I'm not, you know, and they do a great job on the show. It's a great show. But it's those upper execs that are making really tragic choices, which will eventually potentially ruin someone's life. That's how I feel about it. Okay, so we'll see what happens with that story. Her bachelors don't understand because she's always been really pleasant, because that's who she is when she's around, you know, cameras and the girls and guys that maybe she has a crush on. Now, a new article from TMZ says that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives producers cut abuse claims from the reunion show during filming of the season 3 reunion. That's the show that the season that we just finished. This was Stassi's when she was season 4 was Stassi, right? You guys tell me. I can't remember which one. I think it was season 3 was Stassi. And it says, during the filming of season 3 reunion, Dakota accused Taylor of being abusive towards him. But that entire exchange was cut and never made to air. But a production source with direct knowledge says that they both hurled allegations of physical outbursts at each other. The volatile exchange was cut for air because the back and forth had nothing to do with the season they just shot. The moment went down on the reunion stage in front of production, and notably Disney and Hulu execs were also present when Dakota made the allegations, meaning higher ups were aware of the claims at the time, but viewers never saw it. What? So this is where we have a major problem. Those ABC executives who are responsible for casting Taylor Frankie Paul in the first place are honestly 1000% liable for some major damage here. They were there. We had ABC and Disney and Hulu execs or whatever watching the live feed of the reunion where he said that she abused him. And they still said that girl should be the Bachelorette. What the hell? And by the way, this is after her arrest in 2023, where they already covered on the show. Unreal. All right, let's move on because I have some other big stories that I want to talk about. So stick around because we got to move on to, let me try to think. Hold on. I want to think about, let me pull this up really fast. It's the Blake Lively story. I'm going to talk about it in just a second. I want to remind you guys that this week's episodes are brought to you by Tonal. Tonal is an all-in-one gym equipment that you can have just on your wall in your bedroom, in your basement, in your attic, in your closet, wherever you have the space for just a little piece of machinery and you want a full gym. Because as you guys know, when life gets busy, workouts are often the first thing to go. And with Tonal, you can make sure you're checking workout off your to-do list with their smart and compact strength training system right in your home 24/7. Tonal provides the convenience of a full gym and the guidance of a personal trainer at home with one sleek system. It reduces your mental load because it's the ultimate strength training system, helping you focus less on workout planning and more on getting results. No more second guessing your form because Tonal gives you real-time coaching clues to dial in your form and help you live safely and effectively. Tonal lets you choose from a variety of expert-led workouts from strength to arrow hit to yoga and mobility to keep you coming back for more. And right now, Tonal is offering our listeners $200 off your Tonal purchase with promo code Daily Dose. That's tonal.com and use promo code Daily Dose for $200 off your purchase. Tonal.com, promo code Daily Dose for $200 off. Okay, let's get into this Blake Lively moment. I don't like talking about her, but when you got to and it comes up, I'll throw it out there. It's kind of like a Meghan Markle situation. As you guys know, we're still 2 months out of the trial. We're hoping that it comes as soon as possible so we can just get over this and never talk about this again. Honestly, I'd be very happy if I never had to talk about Blake Lively again, truly. But Blake Lively was brought up at the Oscars because director Paul Feig, you guys remember Paul Feig, gave an update on how she's coping amidst her federal lawsuit against Justin Baldoni. At Extra asked, how is she doing? And then Paul says, Blake is great. She's great. She's just, soldiering on. I love her, he says. And then it says, then without any prompting, Feig went on to call the troubled 38-year-old a wonderful, great mom, which is the biggest part of her life. Okay. Then he also confirmed, I don't even know if this is with prompting or not, she has a happy marriage to her husband, Ryan Reynolds, who she's been spending time in Wales with as he filmed season 5 of Welcome to Wrexham. So he was asked about it and he just threw it all out. Now, Feig had no problem, remember, even though she's accusing Baldoni of retaliating against her with the online smear campaign after she alleged he sexually harassed her, including unscripted kissing on the set of It Ends With Us, as you guys know. But Paul Feig had no problem with her improvising, squeezing her on-screen husband, Henry Golding's crotch while filming A Simple Favor. Never forget that. She was encouraged in 2017 by her director to say, grab his nuts harder. He goes, that's always awkward. Like, hey, nice to meet you. Can I grab your nuts really hard? Not because I want to, because I feel like she would, Lively explained on the DVD commentary. So just remember that. Just remember that this Paul Feig was okay with that. The two of them really give me the heebie-jeebies. Paul Feig just in general doesn't remember the wife. But look at this. There's something about him that really creeps me out. What does Ryan Reynolds have on Paul? It's so weird, right? Now, I saw earlier Enrique said, talk about Kristen Cabot talking about the astronomer ad. So yesterday I spoke about the Oprah show with Coldplay executive Kristen Abbott. No, not Coldplay executive, the Coldplay affair executive. And Oprah specifically asked about that astronomer ad that Gwyneth Paltrow was part in. And she found the whole thing distasteful. She thought it was pretty bad because Gwyneth did it and that, I don't think she specifically tore down Ryan, but it was Ryan's business and Ryan's company, Maximum Effort, that thought that's really fun. Let's capitalize on, a woman's scorned behavior and make fun of her through an ad. And just remember, I wouldn't give a shit so much about any of this if I didn't find it to be incredibly hypocritical. If you find that funny to make fun of people and women and whatever, that's cool. I mean, I don't agree, but if you find that to be your thing, like Ryan Reynolds, like just make fun, but then don't also attack another person for doing all these horrible things to women, right? Don't call the person all these horrible things like sexual predator. So it's I really truly I despise Ryan way more than anyone, I think, in the there's a list. Should I give you my list of men in the industry whom I despise? Nick Viall, Ryan Reynolds, Mark Ruffalo, Javier Bardem. I'm sure the list will go on. There's many. There's many out there. I'll think of it. There's some weirdos out there. Okay, so I'll do a whole thing. I'll come up with like a good list of men and women that I really dislike in the industry. I know there's more on my men list. Oh, Jax Taylor. Although Jax is so irrelevant now. Who else did I used to not be able to stand that I talked about all the time? John Hamm has a very, very sordid past because of that college experience. Remember, I covered that a long time ago. But the problem is I like his new show, so I feel very torn. Friends and Neighbors, like that's a great show. I don't remember if it's Your Friends and Neighbors or Friends and Neighbors. But yeah, Jax Taylor. Oh, Ashton Kutcher. He's up there. That whole cast of the 70s show, except Topher. They're in there. I know there's more. I'm feeling a little lost in my brain. I'll come up with it. Some of you guys are mentioning Shia LaBeouf. Shia LaBeouf got approval from the police to go to Rome. This was not on my list here to talk about, but I just read it. To go to Rome for his dad, because his dad is getting like baptized or some crazy shit. His dad is like problematic too. And he was given approval to go to Rome, and he's walking around the Rome hotel in his underwear. This guy has major, major issues. He and Taylor Frankie Paul need to go away. They both need to go and get help. I mean, there's so many people that need help, but this is really, I feel like we're watching an Amanda Bynes situation in a man, if you know what I mean. Like Shia LaBeouf it's just not okay right now. And I don't know if it's only alcohol or if it's more, but it's not good. Here, I'll show you guys. This is the article on page 6. Here he is causing a commotion in an Italian hotel lobby in his underwear. He stripped down to his boxer briefs as he demanded a light for a cigarette in this video from TMZ. Let's watch it.
Come on, bro. Give me a match. You got a match? Come on, bro. Give me a match. You got a match?
Is that it? Yeah, you guys, he's a mess. He's a mess. All right. Speaking of a mess, Sheriff Nanos has a recall around him. Now, I wish I could say that this actually means that Sheriff Nanos may get pushed out of his position, but I actually don't think it's going to happen because Sheriff Nanos, I mean, how many politicians, how many different people have we tried to recall in our lives? I think recalls are bullshit, right? Like it's just little signatures out there. I don't think they're real, but it is actually they're trying to actually do it. So Sheriff Nanos has a recall that he's facing over the kidnapping. And what it is he is a Democrat and he went against a Republican for this position of sheriff. And he ended up winning by, I think, like 500 votes. So, and he also treated her horribly. Now, meanwhile, Daniel Gutierrez, they call him a Republican congressional candidate, is among those gathering signatures in an effort to remove him. So whether or not this is like a political issue, I wish it wasn't. I wish they just took out the word Republican, Democrat, because I actually just think even people that are of his politics should agree that he probably should be recalled and he's probably not the best in the position. He's obviously handled Nancy absolutely horrendous. The disappearance of Nancy Guthrie, 7 weeks, no suspect identified. And so now they're putting together this recall. They already didn't like him. They already struggled with him. But this was what they call the straw that broke the camel's back. It says, it's a shame that crime has risen to this point in our community, and I can't blame just Nanos. We have failed leadership in Pima County. So he's going around and trying to get, you have to get like 200,000 or something signatures. It's pretty crazy. But Nanos has responded to the recall effort this week. And he had a very legit, actually very logistical response, which was, we're aware of the recall and it's the right of the people. We'll always honor the will of the people. I just think that he's a liar. He's shady. He has covered up for someone. I don't know who it is. He's covered up for someone. And I would not feel good. In my opinion, I would not be or feel good if my sheriff of my little town was Sheriff Nanos. It would make me feel a little bit concerned. That's my feeling. In terms of the investigation for Nancy Guthrie, JLR Investigates is gone. Brian Enton is gone. Savannah has gone. Everyone's gone. Now, the New York Post decided on the day that like no one else is there, they decided to release an article where they basically say that people are taking advantage of the case, and they call them these YouTubers and kind of what was the word that they called them? I sent the article this morning to Zach because it's so ridiculous. It really is so ridiculous. But they're kind of attacking the people that are standing outside of Nancy Guthrie's house and YouTubing and streaming and following. And I get why they're annoyed with it, because that's mainstream media's job. It's not like mainstream media wasn't out there the entire time until just like last week as well. But they really don't like when YouTubers, online people, or anyone like that gets involved with anything that should be mainstream media. It immediately signifies to them that their jobs are not as important, and that, you know, it bothers them because it makes them feel like they may lose their ability to kind of have a monopoly in true crime and all these stories. Now, I understand to an extent. I do. I understand to an extent, because when you're working with these kind of true crime cases or anything like that, it's tough. Look, you want to keep the facts straight. You want to make sure that you're not ruining the case. You don't want to harass people that are unfairly accused in a case. But YouTubers, and I go like this with my hands, YouTubers, because would you consider Brian Enton a YouTuber? What makes Brian Enton more of a YouTube journalist than someone else that is doing the same thing but in a smaller platform? Do you have to get like a journalism license? Does Brian Enton have a certificate of journalism? Like, I don't understand what really is the difference. Some are much more responsible in their journalism. I know Brian Enton, for example, is incredibly responsible, and he will never say anything out of turn. He may mess up, but he will always he'll still stick to the facts. He doesn't say anything for clickbait. He's very honest and real. And people like JLR and those others may not care as much about like sticking to the facts. They follow the story. They follow the drama and the heightened and this and this and that. But there's really if I stood there with a camera for 30 days, would you guys call me just a YouTuber, or would I be a journalist? Like, what's the difference now at this point? And I think that scares the crap out of actual journalists. It really does. And it's very similar to the Jake Shane story that's kind of going around right now, how Jake Shane, who is an influencer, should not be a red carpet host. And we can talk about that in a second if you guys are interested, because I have some thoughts on that. But I get it. And I also find it to come from a place of panic. It's like when people go after AI for taking their jobs. I get it. And also, it's coming from a place of, oh my God, I don't want AI to steal my career. It's coming from a place of fear as well. I think that in this case, they are really, really upset because they feel like reporters just kind of were doing it for their own money. They were doing it for clicks and for views. And by the way, yes, and of course they were. Just like LA Times and New York Times does the same thing. Just like News Nation and CNN and Fox News does the same thing. Like, that's the business. The business is not, it's not some pro bono. I don't think anyone out there was standing in front of Nancy Guthrie's house for 75 days. Not really, but like for 40 days, just out of the goodness of their heart. It's a job. It becomes a job. Whether or not they meant for it to be a job, they realized there was human interest. But I will say very clearly that I don't believe anyone would have stalked that location so long and so much if not for the lack of communication with Sheriff Nanos. I really do believe this all goes back to him. He's like the head of the snake. If he just released more information and filled in some of those gaps in those early days, I don't think there would be such a desire to make sure that we had eyes on the scene at all times, because we weren't getting the true story. We weren't getting any of the real information. And because of that, like, you fill in the gaps. You want to fill in the gaps. There's a human interest in filling in the gaps. So when we spend so much time, like the New York Post or Savannah Guthrie, being angry at the YouTubers and the reporters and the online streamers who are standing there outside of the house and still keeping the story alive 40 days in, whereas you can't find any articles about it on any of the news websites anymore because no one really cares about this case anymore. I would be grateful if I were the family or if I were Sheriff Nanos. If I truly gave a crap about getting this case solved, I would be grateful that people and the amateur sleuths and the online reporters and the moms that are drinking wine and trying to solve true crime are out there and still care. They're making my job easier. Why are you why are you angry at those people? Why are you offended by those people? That's weird. God, you guys, every day people go missing. Do you know what people would do to have Nancy Grace or Ashley Banfield and Brian Enton and people like me and Zach and people like JLR Investigates and true crime X accounts? They would do anything to get on our radar. None of it makes sense. It's an unsolved mystery and unsolved crime. When you have an unsolved crime, I would think your goal is like all eyes on it. Fix it, solve it. Taking tips now. Like, can you imagine if Ellen Greenberg's parents, do you guys remember the apartment in 603, the death in apartment 603? I think that's what it was called with Ellen Greenberg, that horrendous stabbing story. Can you imagine Ellen Greenberg's mom saying, please stop covering it? Donna, Gavin Fish, surviving the survivor, stop talking about it. Please leave it. No, they will do anything to keep that story alive because that's about trying to find the answer to a horrendous crime that is unsolved in their minds. Right? That's how I feel about it. I would want you to sit and talk about my show forever. I really would. Thank you so much, Catherine. Awesome show today. You are so refreshing. Ooh, thanks. I really needed that. I need a lot of love today. I need validation today. That's how I'm feeling. I like to share my needs. And I'm going to tell you guys, I was feeling really down about myself yesterday. So I need love. Okay. So that's about that. Now, speaking of someone else that probably could use a little love, let's talk Meghan Markle. She cannot get out of the news. She cannot get out of the news. I love you guys. I'm seeing all your comments. You're so sweet. Even though I fished for it, I don't care. I'll still take it. So Meghan Markle obviously has cut ties with Netflix. We know about this now, right? We know that they've cut ties, and we understand that she was not making Netflix money. I mean, that's ultimately what it comes down to. It has nothing to do with anything else except money. If you're not making money, you don't want to continue a deal. If you're making money, you'll take all the bad press. Look at ABC. So they cut ties because they were not making money off of any of her shows or any of her products. And apparently they are holding on to $1 million of surplus, Netflix. So it says Meghan Markle would allegedly, this is according to a new article, she would allegedly disappear during Zoom meetings with Netflix when she would get offended. She would just disappear. For example, if someone at Netflix was giving her, some feedback or criticism that she didn't like, she'd be like, I'll be right back. She would just leave. Like she would just put her thing on, camera off and go away. That doesn't necessarily make for a good, healthy way to do business, right? So after Netflix cut ties with As Ever, Variety published a story just yesterday. And it's bad if Variety is publishing it because now it's like a Hollywood trade magazine. But it says that, Archwell Productions has struggled to release bingeable content. That's their big production company. And Netflix divested from the lifestyle venture, which the tech giant footed the bill to help build. It tossed gasoline on a bonfire of speculation about the health of the relationship between Netflix and the former royals. Now, Variety spoke to 6 individuals with knowledge of this relationship. So I'm assuming people at Netflix who say the union between Meghan, Harry, and Netflix has been far from a fairy tale. Their perceived pattern of selling repackaged versions of the same story about their exit from royal life has exhausted Netflix. Their partnership may continue to taper off, and with it will Meghan and Harry's remaining show business lifeline. So Netflix has said the mood in the building is we're done. Their bedside manner has ruffled feathers in meetings, and lackluster ratings for shows like With Love Meghan have led to doubts that e-commerce is the best way for them to, work together. 3 insiders say Netflix chief Ted Sarandos is fed up with the pair. And apparently they used to text directly. Ted Sarandos and Meghan would text directly, which I guess a lot of A-listers do. And chief content officer supposedly is said to have grown very wary of them as well. Now, of course, a lot of people are coming back. No, that's completely inaccurate. That's not really true. Because Ted Sarandos, the head of Netflix, and his wife are friends with Meghan and Harry. They live together in the same city in Montecito. However, 2 sources have insisted that Ted Sarandos recently said he would not sit for a call with, let me find the article again. I just lost it. He would not sit for a call with Meghan without an attorney present. You guys, that's wild. A Netflix spokesperson says, no, that's absolutely inaccurate. They say Meghan texts and speaks with Ted Sarandos regularly and has been to his home. That's what Sussex attorney Michael J. Kump said in a letter. Obviously, Netflix was sitting on a surplus of As Ever products, including tea and baking mixes, totaling more than $10 million in value. This is, by the way, remember I got the candle and I got attacked. I got attacked online from the stupid pro-Meghan people. And it says, this article says, the company started giving inventory to employees for free. Why do you think I got a candle? Remember that, guys? Then it says, a different Netflix source says the plan was always to spin As Ever back into Archwell's control and that the streamer only intended to assist in its launch. Sure, Jan. Sure. You guys, just like I said yesterday, whatever Meghan touches turns to shit. turns to shit. She just doesn't have a good track record when it comes to business. That's the truth. Hold on one second. I just saw something came in from Josh Girl. Thank you. I need to know why Javier Bardem is on your list. He seems so nice. Oh, Lordy. I would not have picked that comment had it not been a super chat. I don't want to get into it here on the show. I'm going to try to keep it as light and tight here on the show. But I will say that I am, I'll talk about it on Patreon. How about that? Sorry, no offense. I don't want to get into it because I think it will cause a lot of conflict in the comments. Donna, where's your tank top from? Very funny you say that. I just added it to my Amazon list of spring faves. If you guys don't have access to my Amazon storefront, I will post it on my Instagram stories, but it should be below in the show notes. And by the way, this was like $12 and it's such a cute top. And I don't have to wear a bra or anything. It's great. Okay, let's see if there's any other stories. So Meghan Markle's a mess. Okay, that's the truth about Meghan Markle. If I were Meghan Markle, I would just go so silent. Like, just stop talking. Stop posting. Like, just go silent for just a little bit. Is there any other stories that we should cover today? Any last minute questions you guys have for me? If you guys have any other questions for me, let me know before I wrap this up. It says sign up for Donna's new newsletter, Christina says, for extra info on what she likes, what she wears or is reading, among other things. Yes, between my newsletter, you get a little touch of it. My Patreon now, we're deep diving. I am reading our next month's book. It's so good. I have so much. Oh, the Afroman trial. You guys, this Afroman trial is the craziest thing I've ever seen. I thought it was a joke when I first saw it. But essentially, if I had to describe what the Afroman trial is, Astro, that would be really funny. He's trolling an Ohio cop who sobbed on the stand during his defamation trial. That's the new headline. The sheriff's office of Adams County, where is this again? Ohio. The sheriff's office is currently suing Afroman. His real name is Joseph Foreman. I'll show you a picture of him because that is everything. Over a satirical music video he put out in 2022 following a botched raid on his home that never resulted in any charges but severely damaged property. The film clip, which quickly went viral and racked up millions of views, used actual footage from the raid, which the officers claim only resulted in them being harassed and ridiculed. Now, Afroman took the stand yesterday or 2 days ago. What day is it? It's Wednesday. Yesterday, clad in a flamboyant red, white, and blue suit with matching sunglasses, and argued he's only exercising free speech. Okay. The song linked to the raid is called Lemon Pound Cake. Let me see if I can just find. They say it's the most unserious trial that's happening right now. Here we go. This is.
Just some lemon pound cake. Mama's lemon pound cake.
That's Afroman.
It tastes so nice. It made the sheriff wanna put down his gun and cut him a slice. Of what? Lemon pound cake. He wanna put down his Glock.
I'm sorry. I love it. It's really, really funny. So he's basically making fun of the fact that a cop came into his house and he had lemon pound cake on the counter and the cop was like looking at it. I mean, it's really funny. And it's his own footage from his own house. Well, now he's on trial because the sheriff department is going after him, and this is how he showed up yesterday. This is a long clip of it, so I'm just going to show you a little bit in case you have no idea what he looks like.
There would be no songs, nothing. My money would still be intact, nothing. So all of this is their fault.
And because they executed a search warrant on your home, that gave you the right to post the things that we've seen this week on the internet.
Because
Is that right? Is that right, Mr. Foreman?
yes, for
Yes.
tearing down my door, not paying for it, not being apologetic, me being a sport, doing something peaceful to raise the money to pay for their damages, me having the right of the freedom of speech as an American to talk to my family, friends, and fans about what the sheriffs did to my home. Yes, I had the right to my freedom of speech. After they left, I had the right to kick the can and to do what I had to
I
do
agree.
to repair the damage they brought to my house. Yes, I did.
Go Afroman. I want Afroman to win this shit. So this is Afroman's launching pad. Okay, Afroman is going to be a star. He better be on a one-on-one with Oprah after this. Or is that only saved for, those people? I love Afroman. He's basically like, yeah, they attacked my home. You know who's next coming out with a song like that is that Carlos guy. Remember the DoorDash guy down in Rio Rico? He should come out with a song. They come in there, they completely attack your home. And by the way, I get the need for a raid and I get the need for a search warrant and all that. Like, obviously, these things are important. But when they do that, and actually it's happening in the book that I'm listening to, they attack your home. They pull open everything. They break things. They fingerprint everything. If you are innocent in a crime and they come through your house like that, it actually could be very destructive and expensive. And you're left with the mess. It's pretty crazy. Okay. I'm trying to remember if there's something else that I want to. Oh, let's just leave with a little bit of Summer House last night because I actually think it was a really good episode. Summer House is my one Bravo show that I will always love no matter what. And I really want to, they touched on light things, but they had a really heavy conversation about what it's like to be a Black person in the Summer House home. Obviously, as you guys know, in case you're wondering, I'm not Black. But it was a really beautiful scene at the end of the episode between KJ is his name, and Sierra. Mia was there, but she didn't really communicate as much, just talking about what that experience was. And I thought it was a really beautiful scene. I am a big believer in hearing people out for what their experience is, whether you are gay, Black, Asian, Jewish, and I think and many more other experiences, by the way. And I really am a big believer of hearing them and validating their experiences, even if you don't get it, even if it's confusing to you, even if you may not really believe it. And I'm not saying this about Sierra or any of them. I'm talking about just what I see online of people dismissing people's fears and true, honest feelings about being a certain thing in this country or in this world. I think it's really, really important to just listen and not refute them on their feelings, not attack them on their feelings or not validate them with their true, honest emotions. That's how I feel about that. Elizabeth thought I was Black. No, I'm not. Check your screen. You may need to do some color correction. Although I love them. So that was a beautiful moment. Now, I will also say we're seeing Amanda and Kyle's demise in front of us. And Amanda hates Kyle so goddamn much. And you can see all of it in these episodes. It's wild. And I'm not saying Kyle doesn't deserve it. I'm just saying she hates him. She hates him. They play Truth or Dare, like spin the bottle or whatever, Truth or Dare. And she had to kiss him. And he looked like a dog that was in the 150-degree weather for all day and didn't have any water. He was like drooling. He couldn't believe he was getting kissed by his wife. They never want to, like, it's the craziest thing. She rolls her eyes at him. She doesn't want to sit next to him. She's annoyed with him when he asks her to have a sip of her drink. She gets in the shower, and then he's like, oh, I'm going to come in. I'll shower with you. And she's like, no. And you know he wants to shower with her because he's horny because he finally got a kiss from her the night before. They hate each other. I think Kyle actually loves Amanda. He's just an idiot and doesn't understand that in life you have to maybe consider your partner's feelings. But they have this one conversation in their apartment where he's like, I think I got a manager so I can get really good DJ gigs. And she goes, wait, how long is this thing gonna last? Like, how long is the DJ thing gonna go for? And he goes, I don't know. It gives me the most joy and it pays all the bills right now. And she's like, I didn't marry a DJ. Him becoming a DJ was him taking one step out of the marriage. That would be like me going to Lance and saying, like, do you mind if I become a stripper? And he would say, I don't want you to become a stripper. And I would say, well, it's going to make me good money, so I'm going to become a stripper. Like, you can't be in a marriage and also completely go against your partner's wishes and expect that they're going to be okay with it. It's just, it doesn't work that way. She's the worst person to be married to a DJ. Like, it's the worst marriage ever. So we're watching it slowly fall apart. He cannot imagine spending a Saturday night at home with his wife. That to him is like scary. That's scary for a couple. If your husband or your wife will do anything to not just hang out at home on a couch with you and a movie and good food and maybe a glass of wine and potentially some cuddling and maybe even sex, we've got a problem. Houston, we got a problem. You guys choose Lance. Lance the lemon. Lance the lemon. I see you, Miranda. Where's Lance's lemon right now? You guys don't know why I call my husband a lemon. I don't know what to tell you. I adore you guys. But yes, I agree, Robin. She got the ick. She got the ick from Kyle, and she can't even look at him the same. She doesn't want to kiss him. She doesn't touch him. He annoys her. I adore you guys. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for a great episode. And I will see you tomorrow on the show. All right. I love you. Have a great night. Bye. Day. Bye.